Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Eric. Eric is from London, in England, in the UK. So let's see what Eric has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello Eric, I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, not too bad. How are you doing?
Very well, I'm enjoying the sun in London.
Yes, very nice, thank you.
I think we've been very lucky with the weather these 2 weeks.
We have indeed, although the weekend was a little bit cold.
Yeah, it's at least I think now there's a few warmer days now on the way. So yeah, we are a bit lucky.
Absolutely.
Eric, so tell me where are you from?
Where am I from? It's quite complicated. So I was born in Canada, Niagara Falls, Ontario, but my parents are from Scotland, but my mum's family, my grandparents are from Bristol, so I've got my family there as well. So all over the place.
So you're born in Canada, and did you spend your childhood there?
Yeah, I lived there till I was 6 years old, yes, yeah. And then my parents moved back to near Reading, just outside of London, yeah.
I see. And do you have any memories of your childhood over there?
Yes, I've got a lot of memories actually. Yeah, I enjoyed my childhood in Canada actually. Got older siblings, so they were born in the UK, but they moved over with my parents in the early 70s.
I see.
Yes, I remember definitely the hot summers and the cold winters. Very exciting.
I spent last Christmas in Canada last year, actually, and New Year's Eve as well.
Oh, yes, yeah. Whereabouts?
But in Montreal. My best friend, he lives in Montreal, and my godson as well. So I went I've been in Canada 3 times. The first time I went to Canada, I was in Montreal, but explored a little bit more of Ontario area as well, Niagara Falls and Toronto.
Really?
So yeah, but this time was the first time I went on winter time, and White Christmas as well. It was beautiful. It was snowing.
Chilly.
Very chill. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe. And the days before Christmas as well, it was so cold. I was like, my goodness, it was amazing. Anyway, I love Canada.
So yeah, I remember as a child when we had bad snowfalls. The snow was so deep, and getting to school, I remember my mum pulling me, in a sled. And I used to love that. So whenever it snowed a lot, I loved it because it's like I just got dragged to school.
Amazing. And I believe now you live in London, Eric.
Yes, I do. So I live in Homerton, which is near Hackney Central. So just like 5-10 minutes walk. Near Victoria Park. So I was down there today.
Amazing. I love Victoria Park. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
It is. There's so many green spaces around here. You know, you got Victoria Park, you got Wells Street Common, which is kind of just north of it, but in the middle of it. And it's actually an older park than Victoria Park. It's got quite a lot of history to it. And then you've got, you got Millfields north of us. So yeah, loads of green space.
Amazing. And how long have you been living in London for?
So I moved in with my partner here in January 2020, end of January 2020. So just before the lockdown period. So we did it just in time. So my partner was living in White City at the time. And I was living in Reading. So I've lived in Reading for quite a few years. We decided to move together and found a place here. Yeah, the moving process, as you know, in the UK is a long process, buying, selling.
Absolutely.
So we ended up, it was the end of January, it was 24th of January 2020 that we ended up here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's the first time you live in London?
Actually, well, yes, properly. So I went to the University of Greenwich back in 2000 to 2003. Mm-hmm. So I lived in the kind of Greenwich, Woolwich, Charlton area, so southeast London.
I see.
Yeah, so I have lived in London before, but each bit's different,
I see. And what do you do for a living, Eric?
What do I do? So I work as an echocardiographer okay, I will decode that for you. So it's basically ultrasound heart scanning. So, you know, like a baby scan.
Yeah.
Put jelly in a probe, put it on the chest, but we look at the heart, we look at the pumping function, look at the valves opening, look for any defects, and, you know, post-operative and lots of different things, congenital, you know.
Oh my God, such interesting, my goodness. And how long have you been doing the job for?
So, doing echo, so they call it echo for short, probably about 11 years now. But the whole area is cardiac physiology. So I used to work in cath labs. So that's where patients who get taken, who are having heart attacks or got blocked arteries, they get x-rayed and a dye is put into the heart, and you can see where all the narrowings are. So we used to do all that. We used to do pacemakers, ECGs, blood pressure monitors, lots of different things, yeah.
My God, wow, interesting, very interesting. Eric, so before we start our journey really in the magic box, of course, I was checking your profile and I could see so many videos of you playing the trumpet, yeah? So tell me a little bit about your passion about the trumpet before we start the game.
So, it's a bit of a weird one. So, kind of when I was doing A-levels uni, I kind of thought, oh, it'd be kind of nice to play something. And I thought, well, I'll try guitar. So going further back, actually, my mum's a violinist. So she would have liked me to have done piano back in the day. And of course, being a child and teenage rebel, I was like, yeah, not doing that. Although I was like tinkling on the piano and the keyboard. But anyway, I thought, as I got to my mid-late teens, I kind of got into different music. So, yeah, I discovered kind of like sort of alternative rock and, you know, jazz and sort of stuff that you just maybe don't listen to unless you're exposed to it before age of 14, 15. So I thought, oh, kind of sax looks good. But I thought, oh, it looks a bit complicated. I thought, oh, trumpet, that's only got 3 bells. So got a trumpet anyway, then went off to uni, so it got put in the back of the cupboard. And when I got back from uni, I thought I tried a few times to sort of teach myself. Then got a friend to teach me for a little while who was in a band. So that was probably about 2008, something like that anyway. I kind of got him to teach me and got him to show me the ropes and did a bit of self-teaching. Then after that, he kind of went in their own directions, and he basically said, get somebody, a proper trumpet teacher who knows what they're doing. So I went to, because there's a Sunday jazz thing in Reading, it's still going, at a local backstreet pub. I won't name names for the moment because it's quite well known for certain things and certain people. But anyway,
you can tell the name. You can tell the name if you want to. Not a problem.
Well, it's called the Retreat in Reading, so it's a famous backstreet pub. Anyway,
okay.
Famous for music, and you know, a lot of people go there. So anyway, they do a Sunday jazz there last Sunday of every month.
Wow.
So there's a guy called Stuart Henderson. He plays trumpet. And kind of thought, oh, like he's really cool, like really like his stuff. Watched him for a few years, and then I asked somebody at the pub. I said, you know, like I'm basically haven't, you know, I was doing lessons, not doing them anymore. Like, and he basically said, oh, speak to Stuart. And I'm like, no, he won't want to teach me, you know, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like, he's not going to be interested. But anyway, you know, he gave me his number, messaged Stuart, because Stuart kind of knew me anyway. And he was like, oh, God, yeah, I'll teach you. So that's sort of how I properly got into it.
Wow. So
did some lessons for a while. Then a friend of mine, Rich, who he plays guitar around Reading, you know, like he does a lot, he's in a couple of bands. We went to this festival called the Village Festival, which they do around in that area of town. It's the Retreat and a couple of other pubs that sort of collaborate. So I went one year and he's like, oi, you play trumpet, don't you? You're in a band, because he was in a soul band at the time. So still out, and he said, you know, basically like, come and join a band, you know. And there was another friend of mine who plays trombone, who was also there. He's like, oh, do you fancy it? You know, and I was like, okay. So then, yeah, joined that band. That's now the Mark II, which is still going, doing kind of soul, Motown, Stax, that kind of stuff, covers.
Oh.
And did that for a while. So this is a long story. Sorry, I'm not allowed to speak at all here.
Please, I'm enjoying so much. Yes, it's interesting.
Then after that, a friend of mine mentioned me on the local brass band site. So I'd never thought of doing brass banding, although I'd had a cornet as well. For whatever reason, I got a cornet. I don't know why, but I ended up. So I thought, so I got messaged by the band leader there, Matthew Roll, basically saying, could you, we need cornet players, can you come in and join? So I've never done brass banding before, so it's like, well, let's try that. So then I ended up doing brass banding up until, both bands up until about 3-4 months before I ended up moving.
Wow.
But I'm still friends with them, and yeah.
So right now, at the moment, you're not playing in the bands anymore.
I'm not officially in the bands anymore, although the brass band I was in, so I don't know if you've heard of Saddleworth. So it's a thing they do up in the Pennines, sort of between Manchester and Huddersfield, sort of up in the north of England.
Right.
It's quite worldly famous for brass bands. Anyway, bands from all the world go there. So it's a set of villages where you brass bands. You register and you can play, and you sign in different villages and you march through and do your piece. So I got asked to do the bass drum this time for them. So I went up, did that. That was a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Wow.
Really good fun. So yeah, look on my Instagram to see a few pictures of it. Yeah, it's
I'll
really
do.
fun.
Eric, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yeah, of course.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Right, I can see you like dancing, amazing. Eric, before we start the journey through the game, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? It's all very friendly. Okay? Boom. First question for you is, what things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
Relationship deal breakers. Be you. Just be you. Be honest, and be the best of yourself. That's all I can say. I know it's quite generic, but that's my honest answer.
Okay, absolutely. And how long have you been in a relationship for?
So I've been in a relationship for it must be about 6 years now. So.
Wow. During those lovely 6 years, what's the most beautiful thing you've learned so far from your partner?
You can go through lots of different things, like we moved and then moved together, then lockdown happened, and it wasn't the easiest at times, but we got through it, and just stick with it, That's all, yeah.
Next one, let's do it. Okay, Eric, from London, next question for you is, what is a negative thing that happened to you that came out as a positive thing in the end?
Oh, gosh. So my workplace, job-wise, hasn't been the easiest thing always. And, I started my job about 4 or 5 years ago. I work at the Royal Free in Hampstead. Had a very supportive manager and kind of turned it round. So, out of something, like I was searching around for something at the time in my career. So, definitely that was a positive.
I see. Saying that, what do you like the most about your job? What's something that you really enjoy the most of it? And also, there's always a challenging part as well. What that would be?
So both would would you say? Like the challenging and the fun part? Actually, the part I really like, and actually especially where I've worked, is the team of people who I work with, a really good team of people. And we can go out after work, to the pub or up to Hampstead Heath, whatever, and have a really good time. People who I've worked with who are no longer there anymore, they've moved on to different places, still keep in contact with them. Really good friends. And what was the second part, the negative side?
Yeah, the most challenging part of it.
Well, challenging, okay, it's not necessarily negative. It's very busy. It's a very busy environment. There's not much let up there. It's a continual hamster wheel in a way, in that kind of way. But I hope I'm helping people, and that's my main aim, really.
Absolutely, very good. Next one, let's do it, Eric. Okay, Eric, next question for you is, what do you think, again, about all the questions coming to you now, is about relationship, about what do you think people need to know about each other before they get married?
As a jokey thing, like make sure that you're not an axe murderer before you get married. But anyway, no. No, I don't know. Again, I think it's just honesty, isn't it? So I think if somebody hasn't said something about their past that could actually have an impact on you, I think you ought to know about that. And yes, everybody's got a bit of a past, I know that, but I think something that impacts on somebody they're going to be with, I think that's really important.
I believe as well, relationship, like before you give this big step of get married, or I think would be what my view on it is, try to live together some time before you give this big step, because those little habits that you just see when you live together, you know what I mean? You can have like beautiful moments, challenging moments, but when you start living together, when you see each other every day, waking up, going to bed, or spend a lot of time together, that's when you start to see things that, maybe there's nothing, but it maybe can be an issue. And sometimes people, I think they should spend some time living together. It's very important before giving those big steps.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Like you need to get through those teething issues and all that. And I don't believe that any couple doesn't have those issues. I think if you don't, then I think actually there's something not quite right going on.
Absolutely.
Well, that's my suspicion anyway.
Next one, let's do it. Eric, before the next question, so far, since you've been in London for the last 2 years, what's the most challenging part? What's for you is very stressful or difficult? And what's the best part of living here in London?
Okay, so the stressful part, I think, because I've got a lot of friends in London because I've worked here for longer than I've lived here. So I do know people in London, but I think the stressful thing was actually moving further away from my family and a lot of my established friends, so I used to see all the time. And of course, Reading's not that far away. Reading, London, they're as close as you can get, really, in terms of two big places. But I think, especially with lockdown, that made it difficult because I couldn't just go and visit people. I couldn't just see my family, couldn't just see my friends. Like it was a good sort of 6 months really before I was able to do that, even just a little bit. So that was a bit difficult. We're just not keen on meeting up with people and all that. So, yeah, it was kind of lonely for a little while, and of course, like you felt very isolated, even though I was with my partner, but there was just seemed to be nobody else around. It was a bit like being in a kind of spaceship in a little bubble, Positive things. One of the positive things is that I was able to walk around London because, of course, the weather in 2020 was amazing.
Yes, I remember.
Day, but like for months.
I remember actually, you're right. I remember like the first lockdown that the weather was just perfect. I remember.
Yeah, it was so sunny and it was dry, and like from the end of March, you know, from basically like a week of lockdown, I just thought I'm going to go on really long walks. I'm going to really discover the area and actually discover this side of London, because of course this side of London was not a part of London. Apart from Victoria Park and whatnot, in Stratford maybe, I didn't really come out this way a lot. So I was able to discover a lot of different routes and different little places actually. And that was really cool, you know, and I probably walked a bit further, you know, outside the areas I should have done for the rules at the time, but I was only on my own. It was just myself and my partner. We weren't mixing with anyone. So I walked all the way down to Greenwich, went to Limehouse, sort of all the way up to Stamford Hill the other way, all the way into Covent Garden and Soho the other way, just walking. The weird thing was with central London, it was so quiet. There was absolutely nobody around, but yet it was 28 degrees and sunny a lot of the time, and just not a soul. I took a whole load of pictures, which I put on Facebook, and then for whatever reason, I took them down, because I think for me, even though it was amazing to have these pictures and nobody in sight, it was a bit sad as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually, like, I think I might have a couple, but I actually got rid of a lot of them, which is, I kind of regret that now, because I think actually now I would have put it into an album, but you know, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Next question for you is, what is the strangest gift have you ever received?
Strangest gift. Not too many strange gifts. I suppose we would have to be delving into Secret Santa territory here. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a kind of knitted willy cover or something done with a Santa head on the end one year. Something along those lines, you know. Yeah, that's sort of a strange one. I don't think of anything else I could use that for.
Do you like Christmas?
Do you know what? As a child, I loved Christmas. Then as a teenager, I kind of went off of it. But actually, as I'm getting to an adult again, I'm seeing a different side to it. And I think for me, I think the middle of winter, you know, because it's literally we're the opposite time of the year now. It's a way you can brighten up quite a dark, dismal time of the year, to be honest. I quite like Christmas, although it can be a bit tiring, especially with all the festivities. Weirdly enough, I like January. January is actually a month I like, because it's quiet. There's a lot of birthdays going on, like with friends and family. So, and I think like things like Burns Night, you know, Robbie Burns and all that at the end of January. So for me, it's quite a bit going on, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Eric. Next question for you is, which question you don't have an answer for?
I think the question you've asked me just now is a question I don't have an answer for. Weirdly.
Tricky answer. I like it.
Sorry, turned it around.
It's all right. Yes, I think it's a very tricky one actually. Like, which question I don't have an answer for. Even when I ask myself as well, I go like,
it's like those work interview ones where they'll ask you something like that. It's like, you know, I'm just like, I don't really know, to be honest. I haven't got an answer for that question.
Okay, another one. Let's do it. Another question. Right. Next question is, what is the biggest prize you ever won?
Oh, the biggest prize I've ever won? I haven't won anything sort of what most people consider to be a big prize, but when I was at school, I did an art competition. So it was junior school. Did a painting. I think it had to be sort of something to do with Disney. I can't remember, but I remember Disney characters. Anyway, I kind of drew through this thing, and I ended up winning the school competition. And even now, it was a kind of a good feeling, you know, like it was because it was something, you know, it's from like my own talent, I guess, for something I'd done. So that was a nice feeling.
Did you like school?
School was a bit of a mixed bag. Like I didn't mind going to school and all that, but yeah, like I suppose I had like sort of learning issues. Like I'm actually going through an ADHD test thing at the moment, and I always had extra classes in English when I was younger because I was a bit slow, a bit behind, and same with maths. But I kind of caught up, you know. I did okay in the end, you know. I've been to university twice, you know. I've done 2 degrees, so it's like after sort of being a bit slow to start, I've done okay. So yeah.
Okay, you are being very modest. You're doing very well. My goodness.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We're all different, you know. Like some people develop at a young age and are able to achieve quite a lot when they're younger. Whereas I was a little later doing it, but you know, I will say to people, don't give up on what you're doing, you know. And same with music, like I didn't do that until I was older, so you know.
Oh, amazing! Do you have siblings as well?
Yes, I've got an older brother and older sister. Mm-hmm. My sister is 12 and a half years older than me, so I'm 40 now. Just turned 40 in April.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
1982.
1982, yeah.
I'll be 40 this year as well in November.
So you're the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah, the end of the year.
Well, happy birthday to them.
Yeah, the best year, 1982.
Absolutely, the year Duran Duran, all that. And my brother was 50 in January as well, so yeah.
Oh wow!
There's a bit of a gap between my brother and my sister and I. So
amazing. And are you guys close?
Yeah, we are. So my sister lives in Wokingham, which is near Reading, so she's quite nearby there. My brother lives in Scotland, the other side of Glasgow. So my sister, I'm going to see Tears for Fears with her on the 2nd of July. So that's a week Saturday.
Wow.
So we're doing that long leap. So my sister was into them back in the day, and I like them anyway. So we've both not seen them live yet. So
amazing.
Yes.
Wow. Say hello from me to her.
Yes, I will.
Like so. Okay, Eric, before the next one, being a gay guy, did you always have the support of your family? Did you ever came out, or if you can walk me through the day, if you can talk about?
Yeah, so I didn't officially come out till I was 25. So it's a little late on, but you know, but still young enough. So I met my first partner is from Madrid. So I went out with him for a while, and he wasn't entirely out, neither was I. So anyway, you know, this is how classy it gets. So I went to Pizza Express with my mum in Reading. And I just happened to say, oh, I've got a new partner, blah, 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 you know. And I kept on saying he, and my mum was like, you're saying he? I was like, yeah. And that was it. Like, I just subtly did it. There wasn't the big coming out, anything like that. My mum was always, you know, she always loved, you know, she loved Freddie Mercury and all that anyway, you know, sort of big characters. She's never had a problem, and, you know, she loves all that. I thought my dad, there would be a bit of an issue, but my dad was actually really placid with it. So never any issues at all. So very supportive.
I see. And as you said, you came out quite late, 25. I mean, late, there's never like, a little bit early or late, but did you always knew that you were gay since young age?
Yeah, I suppose I had an inkling. Yeah, I suppose from like early mid-teens, like I was kind of like, actually men are kind of cute, but I suppose you think at the time it's like, oh, it's a bit of a phase, you know, like,
yeah.
It kind of didn't really go, and I tried a couple of relationships with women but it didn't really work. So, and I think they knew.
Yeah, I think all of us, even though, you know what I mean, we have those, there are not too much information at the time, you know what I mean, it's something, everything was a bit closed, and I mean, it's still people don't talk about that anymore, but I think nowadays is much more open. I think with social media, with you know, I think the world now, there are more information and some support as well, so people, they feel more kind of, let's say, encouraged to come up, or to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. And you know, when you see the younger generations now, there's a lot of support.
Yeah.
You've also got a lot more awareness of particularly like gender identity, which for me is super important. I think that's been overlooked for way too long. Unfortunately, I don't think it's necessarily got the entire support. You know, even from the LGBT community, I think I've heard a lot of people have the attitude of, oh, well, what's all these genders now, and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of think, no, you know, I think we've got to recognize it now. It exists, it's there, you know, the way you were treated maybe in the 60s, 70s, 80s, think how they feel. So, you know.
Absolutely. All right, next question for you is, what's the scary thing that happened to you?
The scariest thing? There's different kinds of scary. As in freaky scary, or weird scary, or any kind of thing.
Any kinds. What comes to your mind when you think about something scary, or?
Well, again, going back to my childhood in Canada. So you get really, in Canada this time of year as well, you get these really, really bad thunderstorms, you know, like thunderstorms like people in this country wouldn't know. You probably do.
Yeah.
You probably know what big thunderstorms are, you know.
I do for sure.
Yeah, so anyway, we had this big thunderstorm. So it came over, like it was like nighttime, you know, this is about the middle of the afternoon, but it came over as dark as night. Then we started getting these hailstones. And my sister was 14, 15 at the time. And being a teenager, she was just moaning about wanting to go to McDonald's, I think, at the time. But what I remember, she was just whinging about, oh, I want to go to McDonald's. And my parents were like, we're going to die if we go out there, you know, like. But anyway, yeah, it was a really ferocious thunderstorm. We had to go into the basement, so we had a basement. Yeah, that was quite scary. And so when it finished off anyway, like it was done within about an hour, and we ended up going to McDonald's, even though there was cars with smashed windows and all that, but my sister was just whinging so much. We ended up going there, and they were open amazingly, because we thought they'd be shut. But anyway, a town nearby had a tornado and got quite badly damaged. So that's quite a scary thought from my childhood. Yes.
Wow. I can tell. I never had a situation like this, but I remember as a child, my goodness, the thunderstorm, when it was scary. Sometimes the noise, and I remember my parents, you know, like even my mom, sometimes she was a bit scared, you know what I mean? We were kind of quiet in the bedroom. She just kind of told us, and then the power went off as well, so didn't have power sometimes. Oh my God, it could be a nightmare, I remember, as a child.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The people in the UK, I don't think know what a big thunderstorm is. You occasionally get big ones, but you know, the North and South American ones are the worst, I think.
For sure. You're describing now. I can remember. I have like some memories, like never like bad this one, but I have memories that of like wow, and even the lightning as well. My goodness.
Oh god, yeah, power going off, yeah. And
oh my gosh.
And I think that was the same storm where we got the tree out the back got struck, so it ended up being split.
Yeah.
That's the kind of storms we got in Canada, anyway.
Next question. Let's do it. Next one. Next question for you is, nice question. What does love mean to you?
Love. There's different kinds of love. So I always think of the Greek ones, you know, was it agape, and you got I can't remember the other ones, but for me it's just I think in a general thing is just you know, thinking about looking after other people, you know, your family, your friends, people close to you. And of course you have amorous love as well, you know, so, you know, give a little bit of that as well, you know, when you can.
You believe that there are different kinds of love?
Yeah, so, you know, like the people going about, you know, Valentine's Day every year, you know, people are like, oh, it's a commercial day, blah, blah, blah. And I always sort of remind people that, no, it's not about buying heart-shaped chocolates, blah, blah, blah. It's about, you know, it's thinking about your family, your friends. It's not just sexual love, you know, or, you know, not kind of lustful love, you know. It's a time to think about, you know, people who you maybe can't be with, and, you know, who are further away, and kind of just thinking about them and sending your thoughts and love, really, you know.
Absolutely. I think you can love your pets, you can love your lover, you can love your partner, you can love your family, you know what I mean? Different of love, but all of them come from this beautiful space, like place where you feel this emotion, nice feeling of, you know, caring about someone, or, you know, thinking about, especially about someone special. I think that's the meaning of love.
Absolutely.
Ready for another one?
I am.
Let's do it. But before the next question, tell me if you can share one of your unforgettable, as you've been playing in different bands, you know, if you can share like a special moment that happened to you, one of your concert, you go like, wow, that was something that I will always remember. There was a special, you know what I mean, play that you had?
So yeah, I'll start with one gig. So we played one gig. We had a member of our band, Jules, who sang with us for a while. So she did the female vocals for us. So her partner Phil had a birthday in this pub in Reading, and we had such a good gig. Like, for me, that was the absolute best we played. So that was the Soul and Motown band. Yeah, that was the absolute best gig we played, you know, absolutely on point. The other gig I did with them too, so the Soul Motown band, my parents came along to watch, so it was somewhere more local to there.
Oh.
This one didn't go so well. I think because my parents are there, I was a bit nervous and blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
So I had quite a lot of white wine before I even started. And I had quite a lot of wine while we were playing. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm glad there's not any video evidence of that, because it must have been absolutely awful. Yeah, I was quite tipsy by the end of it.
And what was their feedback in the end of your parents? They did something nice? They said something nice?
Yeah, they said you played really well, until the point where you absolutely sloshed and couldn't play the last 3 songs. So yeah, it was one of those. But what was worse, it was my dad that was bringing me glasses of wine. I was like, Dad, can you get me another one?
I think he could feel that you're near, but they were like, okay, let me bring some wine, and bring some wine to him.
Yeah, because I hadn't played with my parents there before, so it was a bit of a weird thing. Yeah.
Oh, poor you, you're there.
But they fed me wine as well, so they were part of the process.
Of course. You made me remember now a situation. When I was at school, it was Father's Day. I think I was maybe 13 years old or something. Anyway, my teacher, she needs to choose one of the students from my class to play this role, but it was just one person on the stage to celebrate Father's Day. And she came up to the class and she was looking around and she chose me. She like, William, I think you're gonna be the one. I said, okay. So she gave me this for, like, I was doing reversal, like with the, what I need to say, you know, for the play. It was just me in this, like in the stage, just me talking about something about, it was a celebration of Father's Day, like a message about Father's Day. So I need to interpret the whole story. Anyway, so I prepared myself, everything for weeks, and I was doing with her. And in the day when I need to do it, when I went on stage, I saw so many people, and I knew my parents, they were there. I felt so nervous, like you, and I completely forgot everything I need to say, everything. So what I need, I just look at her and I asked her if she can give me the script, so the paper. So I literally read the whole thing through the play because I forgot everything. I was so nervous that I forgot. Somehow some of them, they thought a little bit strange, but they didn't understand why I was reading. Some of them, they didn't think it was a play. They thought I was literally just reading a nice message for the Father's Day. But actually, I need to interpretate. I need to, you know what I mean, doing the play. But I was so nervous that I completely forgot. So I need to read it out.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that has sort of performance anxiety, you know.
For sure, for sure. But I wasn't. It's terrible. It's terrible. I wasn't drunk, of course, because I was so young. But I was too nervous, for sure.
No.
Next question for you is, tell us about your earliest memory in life.
Oh, earliest memory in life. Yeah, again, I must have been less than 2 years old, but I remember being put to bed. And it must have been about 8:30 at night, whatever, because in the summertime, because I remember it not being too cold and it was still kind of a bit light outside, and there was a street light out the window. But that's about all I can remember of it, really. So it's a bit like a little snippet. But I must have been quite young at the time.
Amazing. Right, I have 3 questions left for you. Okay, let's do it. Okay, Eric from London. Next question for you is, what's the best compliment have you ever received?
Well, of course, playing the trumpet thing. You know, I got a few compliments. Usually a few funny ones from other gay guys. You know, like kind of cool. Get your trumpet out for me. You know, loving your blowing, loving your trumpet blowing. You know, the usual stuff. You know. The innuendo, you know.
Ooh,
but I quite like it though. I don't mind.
Oh my God, that's a nice one. Imagine, I never thought put your trumpet out of your trumpet. You are giving me ideas, Eric. Now you give me ideas. Okay?
There we are.
Oh, oh dear. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, as you say about playing trumpet, what's the most difficult part for you to play it, and what's the most enjoyable of doing it?
It's a pretty difficult instrument because you've got to get the right embouchure. So that's how you got to set your lips and how you got to blow. No innuendo here. Also, it's remembering the key combinations, you know, the valve combinations. Being brass as well and loud. If you make a mistake, it's pretty noticeable. So, you know, it's quite difficult to get a nice clean sound all the time. But otherwise, it's not too bad an instrument. So. And some of the best parts, again, I like the fact that it's just loud. You can do different styles with it as well. It's really versatile. So you can do jazz, you can do classical, you can do Latin. You know, you can do pop, you can do blues, whatever you want to do with it. I think it's one of the most versatile instruments. And also you've got things like the mutes that go in, so you can change the sound. So it can be more than one instrument in a way. So yeah, I think it's quite versatile.
Saying that, people watch the interview. Would you like to do some classes or to learn how to play? What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
Definitely try different instruments out. So if you're gonna try, have an idea of what you'd like. But actually go into a music shop and just ask to try different instruments. Like you might want to play piano or guitar, and you might actually find you really like clarinet, you know. Mm-hmm. So see what just feels right, and persevere with it. Like don't give up after a month or even 3 months. You know, it takes about 3 years to learn an instrument. learning from scratch. So you do have to sort of put the commitment into it. But once you do 3 years with good practice, you can actually play quite well.
I see. All right. Next question for you is, who makes you laugh out loud?
Who makes me laugh out loud? Oh gosh. Well, my partner can at times. Oh gosh. So I quite like a lot of comedians and comedians, but I really like Jo Brand. Seen her live at Bloomsbury Theatre. Oh gosh, it must be about 4 years ago now, with a friend of mine from Reading. Yeah, I really like her humour. It's dry. She says it like it is, you know. So I can get really good old chuckle from her. Yeah.
I see. You mentioned about your partner again. In your opinion, what's the biggest difference between both of you, and what's the biggest similarity?
So we're quite different. Like, you know, Greg is probably, you know, he tried to learn keyboard for a while and did that for about 2 weeks, and yeah, although he might get back into it. So we're quite different. So he studied history originally. But he's now doing IT. But in terms of similarities, like we both like doing sort of museums. You know, I like a bit of history and archaeology. I definitely like archaeology. I probably prefer that to history in a way. So we kind of got the overlap there. So, and we like sort of different buildings. You know, we like going to different cities and seeing different places. So, yeah.
Very good. Ready for the last one?
I am, yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Before the last question, you know, as we mentioned before about the COVID crisis, of course, for your work was kind of, you know, I'm sure a lot of challenge as well. But looking back, since the beginning of the crisis, the COVID crisis, what's the biggest positive that brought to your personal or professional life, in your opinion?
I think I used to do a lot of work for work, and it was good work, and I was happy to do it. Did a lot of extra stuff, but I think you know, I was in the band as well when I was doing that, and I think I realised during lockdown that I was actually doing too much. It was a lot to take on. You know, I wasn't leaving work till quite late and whatnot. So I've kind of, you know, in a positive way, sort of taken a step back, but I still do what I do. And I've also changed my hour. Well, I haven't changed my hours, I've changed my days. So I do 4 long days now and have the Tuesdays off. So that's definitely, you know, for my mental health, you know, my well-being, that's definitely a positive, you know, because I don't think I would have done that had lockdown not happened. So yeah.
Good one. Last question for you is, what was your worst foot in mouth moment?
Yeah, I've had a few, but usually after. I say usually after having a few beers. And this was at work, and I was in the office with my work colleague and one of my managers. I forget exactly what I said, but it was slightly sort of I was forgetting where I was. And it's sort of something I might say at home or in the pub, but like it was a bit sexually innuendo kind of thing, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but anyway, like my work colleague was in absolute stitches in the corner, and I was just watching out in the corner of my eye thinking, oops, yeah, I shouldn't have said that, really.
Oops.
Yeah, definitely oops.
Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Family.
Ooh, father.
Money.
Lottery. Okay.
One word for love.
Love, passion,
Life.
fun.
Sex.
Oh gosh, I've already covered the fun and the passion. Kinky. Sorry.
I love the honesty. Religion.
None.
Politics.
Liberal.
One word for fear.
Scary.
Friendship.
Love.
Desire.
Desire. Lust.
Regrets. I like the way you said lusts. Regrets.
Regret. Some.
Success.
Not necessary.
Wish.
Happiness.
And one word for happiness.
One word for happiness. Oh. Just light, I think, you know.
Okay. One word for Canada.
Childhood.
Oh, sweet. What you said that you lived in Reading, yeah?
Yes.
One word for Reading.
Friends.
One word for England.
Weather. Sorry. That's too done.
I like you said just weather because some people from England, they go like rain, cold. You just said weather.
Yeah, I could have looked out the window and I thought there's not rain cold right now, so that's a bit
Good.
Love
it. I love it. And the last one now, trumpet. One word.
Loud.
Ooh, amazing. Let's pretend now I'm gonna go to meet your lovely partner for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, tell me the most beautiful thing about Eric, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What your partner would say?
I think he would say I'm kind and I'm caring. I do tend to be a little bit over independent. I think because we lived apart for 3 years before we moved together, and I think that's both of us as well. But I think spending a bit more time together, more quality time, I think. Yeah.
And the most challenging part? Oh, sorry. What's the negative? Sorry, what's in the negative part of What's the negative part of you? Who would say something that you need to improve?
I think I need to make the move to say, shall we do more things? Which is actually something I've done recently. So I said, shall we go away for a long weekend in July? And he said yes. So hurrah.
Amazing improvement. That's what.
Yes.
Amazing. Let's play now, Eric, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But okay, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, well, carrying on the theme, have you ever played a musical instrument?
My God, I love the question. Right. When you actually when you were describing, when you were learning about you were giving some advice as well. I was picturing myself when I was 7 years old. When I was 7 years old, for some reason, I wanted so badly to play piano. I wanted so badly, and I had some classes actually, but it was a very small town where I was born, like literally very small. There was no many, possibilities of arts or anything. So my mom found this teacher that she was a pianist, she was playing piano, and she gave me I think it was 3 classes only. And I remember her putting some little box in between my fingers to kind of get more comfortable when playing piano. I remember that. I have this vision in my head. But sadly, she needs to move the city for some reason. I don't remember what, but something happened in her family that she needs to move out for the city.
Right.
And I stopped, and I couldn't have class anymore. It was the only time that I was so like, I want so badly to play piano, to learn music, to, you know, and my mom could see that I was so, I had this passion. I want so bad that I was very young. And sadly, she couldn't find anyone else who could teach me, or, you know, at the time, I wish I had this technology we have today that we could do, you know, some things online, or, but sadly, yes, sadly, I couldn't learn. But yeah, I just had short classes of piano. And sometimes when if I see a piano, I have a good friend of mine, he's a pianist. And sometimes if I see it, I need to put my hand a little bit on it just to have this vibe or feeling of it. But yeah, it was the only time that, and actually I was playing drums as well at school, and you know, this the band, when like we were celebrate something, but it was short period as well. It wasn't something professional. I just was learning at school. But yeah, the only time I started playing something or learning an instrument was piano when I was 7 years old.
When you were 7, oh.
Oh, I know. When I just love music, you know. When I mean, of course, everything happens for a reason, but it's something that you know, growing up is something that I wish I had more opportunities as a teenager, as a child, because it was a very small city. We couldn't do much about it, even though my mom was sometimes trying to see but she couldn't find anything. It was quite difficult. But anyway, it meant to be this way.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's nice that you were able to do it for a little while anyway.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I think that when the music is there in your blood, you know what I mean? It's going to be there all the time. Anyway, when I see people playing, when I see, for example, when I was seeing you playing as well, I was like, oh, wow, that's something amazing to see, you know? So it's always, even though I'm not doing it, but I appreciate seeing people doing it. I feel like I'm the one doing it as well.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Okay. Eric, did you have a good time?
Yes, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time for the interview. Thank you very much. I know we've been trying for a while, and yeah, I'm glad that we made this time. It meant to be today, for sure.
Well, thank you for inviting me, you know.
But before you go, if you can share a positive message or a positive quote, something that you live by.
So it's actually, it's a funny one. It's one by Oprah Winfrey, of all people. You know, love her or loathe her. I think she's great. You know, she's done a lot for you know, black rights and, you know, LGBT especially. But something she said is, you define your life. Don't let other people write your script. And I think that's just simple and perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Eric, thanks so much. It was a pleasure. And I see you in London sometimes. My goodness, I live in South London. I live in Stratton Hill, near Brixton. So I'll see you sometime. I go to East London a lot, actually. I was, when I moved to London, I was living in Poplar, not far from Westbury.
Okay. Yes, yeah. So just the other side of Boas. Yeah.
And sometimes I have friends who live in Canada Wharf. Sometimes we go to Victoria Park. Sometimes next time when I go there, I'm going to give her a ring so we can go for a beer or something.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be nice to meet properly.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the interview. Regards to your partner, and we'll keep in touch, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Brilliant.
Take care.
You take care. Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.